Y'all, I have been trying to do this recap on the Vince McMahon lawsuit for like 2 weeks, but every time I get to the part about pooping, I have to stop. So here we go. This is me trying again. I'm not a lawyer, but I read the 67-page lawsuit, 67 pages, that a former WWE employee filed accusing Vince McMahon of SA and trafficking. So let me try and give y'all the recap. The lawsuit was filed by a woman named Janelle Grant, and it says that she lived in the same building as Vince McMahon. After experiencing some profound grief due to the loss of her parents and being unemployed, the building's resident manager, who is also a close friend of Janelle's, reaches out directly to Vince to ask him if he has any advice about Janelle getting a job. To which Vince enthusiastically responds, quote, "Hell yes." So Vince and Janelle have a meeting in his condo on March 23rd, 2019. They discuss some business stuff and some personal stuff, and at the end of the meeting, the lawsuit says Vince tells her that he doesn't want to just give her a job, but he wants to give her a life, and that he's going to find a place for her at WWE. So he tells her to expect a meeting with WWE Corporate Officer number 2. After that first meeting, over the next few months, Janelle says Vince invited her to his penthouse on several different occasions, reiterating his promise of getting her a job at WWE. And during this time, she's also starting to have multiple meetings with WWE employees regarding employment, including that meeting with corporate officer number 2 as Vince had promised. As time goes on, the visits to the penthouse are getting more frequent. According to the lawsuit, during one visit, instead of greeting Janelle at the door, Vince calls her into his closet where he's only wearing his briefs. Janelle is shocked and apologetic, but he laughs it off and asks her to help button up his shirt. During another visit, the suit says that Vince told Janelle that the people at WWE could never know about their closeness, or else rumors could start and that could be a problem, particularly due to Janelle Grant's physical beauty. The suit says that Vince mentions that he has an attorney on speed dial whom he described as the, quote, best of the best at making problems, including people who become problems, go away. So on May 5th, 2019, during again another visit to Vince's penthouse, the suit says that after having a conversation about each of their bucket lists, Vince kneels in front of Janelle's chair and tells her to kiss him. She kisses him on the cheek, and he, according to the docs, sighs, saying that that's not what he meant. And then he goes off to his bedroom, where Janelle follows, because she says she feared she wouldn't be hired, and she remembered his comments about that attorney that could make problems go away. So she gets in the bed and lays next to him and lets him, quote, hold her. A little less than 2 weeks after the holding in the bed, Janelle receives her official offer letter for legal administrator coordinator for WWE. The following day, Janelle again visits Vince's penthouse, and she alleges that during that visit, she felt coerced into engaging in activity with Vince because, according to her, she felt like Vince had trapped her in an impossible situation. She feared that not following through with his advances would mean consequences to her career, her personal life, and potential legal retaliation. So she goes along with it, and the docs say that Vince said, quote, "This is what I've been waiting for," as he performed on Janelle. And once he was done performing on her, he flipped on his back and said, a version of "do your thing." So the day before Janelle officially starts her job at WWE, the suit says that she goes to Vince's penthouse again to try and stop the physical encounters between the two of them. But according to her, Vince refuses to end it and comments that he, quote, never envisions it ending. So Janelle starts her job, and quickly into working there, she notices that everyone else is complaining about how busy they are. Meanwhile, she hasn't been assigned much work at all. Not to mention, most people are confused by what she's actually supposed to do because her job title was administrator coordinator. So within a few months of Janelle working there, the docs say that Vince became, quote, adamant about her sending him explicit pictures. And because, according to her, Vince had control over her job, she felt like she just had to send them. So the encounters between the two continue, and the pictures continue. And while Vince ensures her that the pictures are not being shared with anyone, he starts to hint that he was interested in other people joining the two of them in their encounters. The lawsuit also notes that Vince allegedly named some of his toys after WWE wrestlers and the race of those wrestlers. I told y'all I've been trying to make this for 2 weeks. So months pass with the situation between Janelle and Vince. The docs say that Vince starts to share some of the explicit pictures that Janelle had sent him to other people in the company. including to a referee who, after seeing the picture, Vince tells Janelle that the photos made him very happy. So because the pictures are being shared, even though Janelle doesn't want them to, she told Vince to make sure that the people he's showing the pictures to understands that it's not to suggest that she wants to engage with these strangers. But then, in May of 2020, the docs say that Vince tells Janelle that he has a friend who wants to have some fun with the two of them. Janelle expresses that she's not really interested in this encounter, but Vince responds, according to these docs, telling her that he's going to lose the friendship if she doesn't go through with it. He also, in this conversation, tells her for the first time that he loves her. So Janelle agrees, and the arrangement with all three of them happens. At the beginning of this encounter, the suit says that Vince told Janelle to lay down, and then he... See, y'all can read this part. After that situation, Vince sends a text to Janelle regarding the encounter. From there, they basically continue in engaging with acts with different people. And Vince begins a pattern of sending very graphic and sadistic text messages. Vince, according to these docs, continues sharing stories and pictures of Janelle with people who worked at WWE. And he allegedly sent this message to Janelle after having shared some pictures and stories with a group of 12 men on the WWE crew. In November of 2020, the suit says that Vince pressed Janelle to send some pictures to the general manager of WWE, whose name is John Laurinaitis. John is the other listed defendant on this lawsuit. After sending the pictures to John, an arrangement with John, Vince, and Janelle is set. And the lawsuit says by this time, Janelle is experiencing severe panic attacks due to the stress of what Vince McMahon has subjected her to. A screenshot of a text from February 5th, 2021 is included in the docs, which is of a schedule that Vince allegedly established for Janelle and the encounters she was expected to engage in with different people. The schedule includes meeting with John and a physical therapist. So more encounters with John happen, and then Janelle is told that she's getting a new position, which is going to require that she reports into John. And the expectation is that with this new role, encounters with John and anyone else, if requested, were to continue. So Janelle goes along with it, and promises about work, including the promise of a vice president role, start to be made to Janelle. Shortly before July of 2021, the docs allege that Vince McMahon tells Janelle to create some personal videos and photos for a particular WWE superstar. After that content is shared with that WWE superstar, Vince tells Janelle that the star likes what he sees. And then on July 21st, that superstar is flown out on a jet for a business dinner. And there's also a prearranged encounter that's set up between the superstar and Janelle. But the superstar gets too drunk at dinner and ends up missing the encounter, so he flies back home. Months after that, a request is sent to Janelle to send a video of herself urinating to that same WWE superstar. Janelle sends the video, and then another encounter is arranged between her and the superstar. But this time, there's a snowstorm, so that encounter again is canceled. On January 9th, 2022, Vince tells Janelle that his wife has learned about him and Janelle's relationship. He's married? He tells her if she just leaves her job at WWE and signs an NDA, things will go over very smoothly. Eventually, she signs it on January 28th, 2022. The deal was she signed the NDA, and in exchange, she'll receive a payment of $3 million. But according to Janelle and this lawsuit, the full amount was never paid. So Janelle is suing, and her causes of action explain why she's able to violate the terms of her NDA, which would have required her to never say nothing. The first one in particular refers to the Speak Out Act, which basically says that NDAs that are meant to prevent a victim of SA from speaking out are not enforceable. So that's the recap. There's way more, but these are my highlights. If you are in my Patreon, you got these docs when they came out like 2 weeks ago. And if you're not in my Patreon and you want to see these docs, you should join. Link in my bio.